last year, both Notts County and Wrexham got promoted to League 2. However, their times in League 2 this year have been a little bit different. Whilst Wrexham finished second, gained promotion to League 1, Notts County on the other hand actually finished mid-table. And this is with their striker Macaulay Langstaff being the league's top goal scorer as well. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to fix this, as I've become Notts County's brand new manager with one goal in mind: win them their first ever Champions League trophy to crown them the world's best club. And guys, this is indeed the starting 11 we've loaded into in Season 1, and if we are to make them the best team in the world, we've got a long way to go before we make that happen. I mean, they've got a very aging team, and hopefully after Season 1 I've sorted this out, because that could be a problem. But on the flip side, there are some pretty good players already in the squad, like Aaron Nemain on the wing. You've got Matt Palmer as well. And how can we forget League 2's top goal scorer last season, Macaulay Langstaff? I'm really hoping I can get this guy playing top flight English football. But financially, guys, we haven't got amazing amounts of money, only 3 million to spend in Season 1. So like I've already said, guys, making this team the best in the world is going to take a lot of goddamn work, but I'm here for the long run. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is switch the formation to the 3-4-1-2. In this formation, everybody's in their natural position, so it just makes sense. And I want to play some gorgeous football with Notts County, so we are going to be using the tiki-taka tactical vision. And what did I tell you, guys? Everybody's playing in their natural position, and in my opinion, this is our strongest starting 11 we can feel prior to making any signings. But guys, I've just checked the youth academy, and I don't usually do this, but thankfully I did, because I've spotted two absolute ballers, Leonardo Correa and also Ji-Hyo Kim. I mean, granted, they're both very low rated right now, but they've both got a lot of potential. Especially Leonardo Correa. The only problem is he's a left wing back, so I'm going to convert him to a centre back in the hopes that he actually grows an overall. But this does indeed beg the question now, what are we going to do with this £3 million? Now, to be honest, I think midfield up in this team is actually pretty damn decent. We just need to focus our attention on our backline and goalie, and then we'll be relatively decent. I mean, we do have Aidan Stone, who's only 23 years old, 60 overall, but he's 60 overall, man. If we want to do well this year, we've got to get somebody better in between the sticks. And when our highest rated centre-backs are 61 overall, you also know we're going to struggle at the back too. So the first thing I did, guys, was sign Cheltenham Town centre-back Lewis Freestone for 600,000 on the dot. The guy's still in his early 20s, but he's 64 overall. He's literally levels above every other defender we've got in the team. I also spent 730,000 on Gillingham centre-back Shadrach Ogie. Just like Freestone, a very young centre-back who's very goddamn good. He'll fit into our starting 11 just like that. And that leaves us £1 million to bring in a solid goalkeeper. And I think I found just the player for the job. I'm once again rating Cheltenham Town, guys. Luke Southwood is a very good goalkeeper, and I want him in the team. He's only in his mid-20s, and he's levels above our current keeper as well. And that officially wraps up our first transfer window in charge in Notts County. We spent 650,000 on Luke Southwood. But now that that's done and dusted, I have been training Correa to become a centre-back, as you guys very well know, and he's going to turn into a 61 rated centre-back. I was hoping for a bigger jump than that, but we'll just have to send him out on loan. And we're also going to be sending Ji-Hyo Kim out on loan as well. I mean, this guy's got a lot of potential, but he's not going to fit into the team just yet. Because frankly, ladies and gents, with only 3 signings made, this team is so much stronger now with actual decent defenders and a very good goalie. Don't get it twisted though, I don't think it's going to make too much difference as how we do this season in League 2. But now that we've improved the team where it massively needed improvement, we do have a great shot at doing better than how they did in real life. Especially given the fact everybody's on form, and also on top of that improved at a quick rate. Look at the state of some of these individuals, man. It's fantastic to see. One thing I should note though, guys, I opted against actually loaning Leonardo Correa out, but it was a great choice because he's gone up to 64 overall and he's by a mile one of our best centre-backs too. But I did loan out Ji-Hyo Kim, and as you can see, it paid off. He's 63 rated now. He isn't quite as good as Daniel Crowley yet, but I've got a feeling as soon as Crowley's time is up in the starting 11, Ji-Hyo Kim's time will definitely start. And look at these stats, man. Macaulay Langstaff with 38 goal contributions in 55 games. I absolutely love Langstaff, man. He's just a G, isn't he? And as you can see, guys, the overall morale is good. Everybody's looking happy. Everybody's looking good in form. The question is, have we done better than Notts County in real life? You better believe we have. We've won League 2 by 3 points and we are automatically promoted to League 1 as champions. I'll be real, I did not see that one coming in the slightest. I'd have been happy with the playoff position, but the fact we've won League 2 is amazing. On top of that, we had a great FA Cup run, making it to round 4 before we lost to Newcastle United. But we got knocked out very early in the Carabao Cup by Leicester. But surprise, surprise, we won League 2 outright, but we got grouped in the BSM Trophy. Fantastic. But we got our tactics bang on the money in Season 1, guys. We improved our defence and goalie position where it massively needed improving, and look what happened, we got promotion first time. Here's hoping we can just keep our form going into League 1, and who knows, if we get our tactics right once again, we could be getting back-to-back promotions. But before we get to League 2, guys, did you lot know I'm racing this guy right here, Raman, to 100,000 subscribers, and currently I am in the lead. But to ensure I win this race, I need your help. So if you're enjoying this video so far, leave us a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. Please help me beat Raman to 100,000 subscribers. Well, ladies and gents, here we are in Season 2, and we are officially a League 1 side now. And we've got a really healthy budget this time, guys. 8 million in total to spend whilst we're in Season 1 and Season 2. Now, when you look at the team as a whole, there's obviously some weak points that we do have to address. For example, Robertson in that midfield is definitely a weak point. You would also assume that Leonardo Correa is a weak point as well, but he's actually one of our strongest players because he's growing still very quickly at a high rate. On the other hand though, Freestone's potential has indeed been reached because it'll take him 78 weeks to become a better player, so if we do bring in a centre back, he'll be on the chopping block and not Correa. And it's the same story for right wing in the main and also striker Jata. Both of their development plans tell me that their potential's been reached already. So it's a good job we've been given this amount of money to spend in Season 2 because honestly we're going to need it. Because I've just spent 1.3 million on our very first signing of Season 2, Jaral Abdallah. He's a striker from Augsburg. He's not even 20 years old yet. Granted, he's not showing any great potential or anything like that, but hopefully if we get him on the right development plan, he can turn into a beast. I've also just spent 950,000 on right midfielder Rafael Borja Rodriguez. He's only 20 years old, he's a very good player, and he's got something special, and he'll take the mains place in that starting 11 once we convert him to a winger. And this still leaves us 5 million to spend. We've got so much money for a League 1 team. So I'm going to put that money into our midfield. 19-year-old Karoy Anderson from Charlton Athletic is going to be joining us very soon. Only 19, he's 63 overall, and he's got something special. And following him is Tractor Boy centre-back George Edmondson, 26 years old, 70 overall. He'll be a fine addition to our back line. And for the total sum amount of £2.35 million, we signed both of these players on 5-year deals, and that concludes our business for Season 2. But I will be loaning out all 4 of these players just to make sure that the players I've actually brought in are getting the game time over these guys. But behind the scenes, there is one more thing that I've been doing, and that's converting Rafael Borja Rodriguez from a right midfielder to a right winger. He's ready to turn into one, so let's see what he does. He goes up by 1 overall. And with that, I think we're ready to take on League 1 now. The team is looking pretty damn strong, and all the weaknesses that we did have in the team, we've replaced them with young prospects that could hopefully turn into monsters. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we're going to get promotion, but as a newly promoted side, I don't think we're going to get our backsides handed to us either. I think we're going to more than cope with League 1. And judging by how well the players have improved this season, I'm willing to believe that is the case because the improvement this year from our youngsters especially has been tremendous. Look at Correa, for goodness sake, 69 rated at 18 years old. We found our endgame centre-back with this guy, I'm telling you that for nothing. And surprise, surprise, Langstaff's the top goal scorer, 23 goals, 5 assists in 54 games. What a player. And you know what? We haven't done bad in the league either. 13th, almost smack bang mid-table for a newly promoted side. I will definitely take that. And on top of that, we were only 14 points off the playoffs, so honestly, if we get stuff right next season, we could jump from mid-table to the playoffs and maybe even automatic promotion if we're lucky. But this time, we did only make it to round 2 of the FA Cup before Wrexham of all teams knocked us out. And we had another stinker in the Carabao Cup as Shrewsbury knocked us out of that. But this time, we did have a decent cup run in the BSM competition, making it to round 3 before Bristol Rovers knocked us out. But going into next season, one thing I definitely am doing is bringing Ji Hugh Kim back from his loan move, and I'm slotting him straight into that starting 11. Granted, Daniel Crowley is a better player than him right now, but his output really isn't that good, to be honest. I mean, from 54 games, he only scored 5 goals and got 4 assists. For an attacking midfielder, that is beyond atrocious. And to be honest, that's probably only one of many things that we've got to do next year in order to get Notts County from here all the way to here. But ladies and gents, with the first signing we've made in Season 3, I definitely feel like we've taken a step in the right direction to take Notts County to that next level. I just signed Alain Bedfan for 3.2 million from Bordeaux. He's a 70 rated goalkeeper who's 20 years old. Now I know that we've got to keep it better than this guy, but just hear me out. As you can see from Southwood's development plan, his potential has indeed been reached. It'll take him 59 weeks to become a better keeper. Whereas Alain Bedfan is only one rating lower, but way younger than him. It'll only take him 6 weeks to become just as good as Southwood. So whilst he is our most expensive signing so far, I absolutely believe he'll be worth every single penny. And this does leave us 3 million to spend on our second and final transfer this window, but don't worry, I already know exactly who I'm spending it on. We absolutely need to strengthen our midfield, and that's where Rocco Ascone comes into play. He's still in his early 20s, and if we sign him, he'll be by a mile our best midfielder in the team. And guys, we were just able to afford him as we spent 2.6 million on Rocco Ascone to conclude our transfer window for Season 3. But this means we'll be loaning out Southwood, Crowley, Nemain and Palmer just to make sure that the players in those positions once again can get the game time I want them to get. As for Macaulay Langstaff, he had a couple of offers, but this geezer is going absolutely nowhere. And with that, ladies and gents, this is how the team looks going into our second year in League One. And honestly, I think we're going to do far better this time. I mean, let's be honest, not only is the team as a whole much better than it was last season going into League One, but in my personal opinion, I think we've made two absolutely game-changing signings in Bedfan and also Ascone. So honestly, we're going to go from mid-table, hopefully, to the playoffs this year. And judging by these stats, guys, I think what we've done is Langstaff is once again our top goal scorer. Surprise, surprise, 28 and 3 for him. He is seriously such a reliable striker. And I've got to say, guys, judging by some of the improvements I'm seeing, some of these players already belong in the Championship. And overall, guys, this team is incredibly happy. I feel like we may have just done better than last season. I can't believe it. We're promoted automatically to the Championship by the skin of our teeth, man. 1 point above Birmingham City we finished. And we finished on the exact same goal difference, man. Oh my God, that is as close as you can possibly get. But we fully had a stinker in the FA Cup as bloody Wigan knocked us out in round 3. And we didn't even make it past round 1 of the Carabao Cup either. And we got knocked out in round 2 of the BSM Trophy, so our best actual effort in this competition, if I'm not mistaken, was last season when we got to round 3, and honestly, that's just shocking, isn't it? But guys, we have got Notts County in 3 seasons from League 2 all the way to the Championship, and honestly, I am beyond buzzing with that. But now it's my job to make sure that they are ready for the Championship, because some of these teams that haven't even made the playoffs are pretty damn decent, and are going to give us a pretty rough time in our first season in this league. But one way or another, guys, in Season 4 we have arrived. We are officially a Championship team, one step closer to being in the top flight of English football. And with that promotion comes that promotion money as always. 10 million to spend this year, and honestly, I think I know exactly where we can put this money. And believe it or not, guys, despite Ogie being one of our weakest links in the team, I'm actually going to leave our back line alone alongside our keeper. What I am going to do is replace Jody Jones with a much better, much younger winger. The guy's 28 years old, 71 overall. He's been a great player for us, but in the Championship, I don't think he'd do well. And the same applies to Karoy Anderson, and if I'm being completely honest, he's massively disappointed me, man. I brought him in the hopes he'd turn into a beast, but honestly, he's been average. As for the rest of the team, as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy to leave them alone. It's just Anderson and Jones that I'm going to replace. And I got straight to work on replacing Jody Jones as I spent 3.7 million on Viborg left wing and Nigel Thomas. He's a much younger and better player than him already, and this says he's got something special, and I'm hoping, unlike Karoy Anderson, he actually does have something special. And I also spent 3.75 million on Leeds United centre midfielder Lewis Bate to replace Anderson. He's still in his early 20s himself, but he's a much better player, and honestly, I feel like he could be a game changer. And just look at the state of this team now, guys. Not only is everybody in this team a pretty damn good player, every single one of them's got potential and got a lot of room to improve. Now granted, the Championship is way more of a challenging league than League One. I'm not for a second saying we're going to get back-to-back promotions. But what I am saying is we aren't going to get our backsides handed to us in the Championship, and honestly, with the growth that we may see at the end of this season, we may set ourselves up for success in our second year in the Championship. And guys, I think I was right, because some of these players, if not all of them in the starting 11, have really improved a lot this year. And we've got a new top dog in the team, ladies and gents, Nigel Thomas, with 30 goal contributions in 45 games, besting Macaulay Langstaff. I still absolutely love Langstaff, don't get it twisted, but Nigel Thomas has outperformed him this season. And looking at the team, guys, I've got to say, I reckon we're one of the better teams in the Championship at this point, so maybe we may have done a lot better than I thought we would. And we have, ladies and gents, we are 10th in the Championship, and we're only 9 points outside the bloody playoffs. And one other thing I'll definitely take is we finished higher than Everton, man, and that's nothing against Everton, but Everton are a former Premier League side. If we're doing better than them, that means we're on the right track. But we've had a stinker in the FA Cup. Bloody Preston knocked us out in round 3. And Derby County knocked us out to the Carabao Cup in round 2. But honestly, guys, I'm not overly fussed about it because like I've already said this year, the growth that we may see is going to set us up nicely for Season 2 in the Championship, and that's exactly what's happened. But Nigel Thomas being our top goal scorer this year got me thinking we're playing the wrong formation. I mean, look at how deep Thomas is playing in comparison to Abdoulaye and Langstaff. If we played a formation where Thomas was in a more attacking and creative position, maybe we'll do a bit better. Now guys, we've just arrived in Season 5 and have taken action on what we're going to do going forward tactics wise. Starting with the formation, we are going for the 4-3-3 attacking variation from now on. This way, both of our wingers are far more up the pitch with our attacker, and also we've got our attacking midfielder Kim sitting just behind our striker. And from now on, we are going to be using wing play tactical vision, and honestly, I don't think we need to explain this given what formation we're rocking with now. Now, this does mean we're going to need a couple of wing backs to go into the team because Oki can't play as a left back and Langstaff certainly can't play as a right back either. Luckily, though, we do have £10 million in our budget given to us by the board to sort this out, and hopefully this will help us get into the playoffs this season. And guys, I found a right back I really like. Burnley's 22-year-old Terence Kudu. He's 73 rated already. I mean, I've been pretty hit and miss with the players I've bought, but this guy does look decent. And I've also found Sebastian Boers, who plays for Southampton, and this guy looks really good. Only 21, already 73 rated. I feel like this guy's going to kill it in the Championship. And there we go, guys. For the total sum amount of £9 million combined, we have signed both of these players on 5-year deals, and that concludes our business for Season 5. And you know what, guys? I don't know about you, but I feel like the formation change was the right move because this team, in my opinion, looks so much stronger like this. And I'm looking at the league overall, guys, and apart from Everton, who last year we finished higher than, I don't see many teams that are better than us. I feel like this year we get promoted to the Prem. And judging by these stats, guys, the tactics that we've changed to have absolutely worked, man. 23-2 for Thomas, 17-19 for Rodriguez, 15-3 for Abdoulaye, and 13-7 for Louis Bates. One player I'm really disappointed with, though, overall is Ji-Hyo Kim. Despite him growing really well every year without fail, he's not exactly doing amazing numbers for the team. I'm really hoping in the coming seasons this improves. But guys, just look at this team. It is absolutely a Premier League team waiting to be a Premier League team. I mean, Betty Fan's gone up by 4 ratings, Correa's done the exact same, Kim's gone up by 5, Thomas has gone up by 3. I swear to God, we have to get promotion this year. And that is exactly what we've done, ladies and gents. We are automatically promoted by finishing second. We are finally Premier League with Notts County. And ironically enough, once again, we finished higher than Everton. And we had an insane FA Cup run this time. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in round 5 by the same team who actually won the Championship. And we had a half-decent Carabao Cup run, but Fulham knocked us out in round 3. But I am so happy with this team, man. I literally called it before I showed you how we did. This is a Premier League side waiting to be a Premier League team, and I was absolutely right. And I'm not being funny, guys, but if Man United, of all teams, are able to win the Premier League, the standard in this league right now can't be that high. So I think instead of aiming here for next year, we aim there and go all out to try and get a higher finish as possible with Notts County. And guys, here we are in Season 6, and it is official. We are now in the Premier League. But we're near the bottom of the table, and I'm not seeing Wrexham anywhere. I wonder where they are now. Well, that's a turn of events, isn't it? Wrexham are rotting in League 2 whilst we're in the top flight of English football. I think it's very safe to say that Notts County are clear of Wrexham at this point. But the good news keeps rolling as we've been given 57 million in our first season in the Prem. And I feel like if I left this team alone this year and just let them crack on, we'd do well anyway, but I would be daft to throw that kind of money down the drain. So I'm going to use that money to replace Asko in that midfield. As you can see, he's reached his potential by the looks of it. 87 weeks it'll take him to become a better player. Funnily enough, the rest of the players in this team's development plans are pretty solid in comparison to Asko, and so he is going to be on the chopping block this year. So I got right to work in this transfer window by spending 37 million on Brighton midfielder Lucas Bergvall. He's only 22, 80 overall, and considering his market value is 40 million, I feel like we got a bargain with this dude. And look at that midfield trio now, 79 overall, 82 rated and 80 overall. We've got a fairly strong midfield trio here. And we've still got 15 million to spend after spending all that money on Bergvall. But let's be real, 15 mil isn't going to take us very far with this starting 11, so I feel like we just try and find players for the bench. And after going through the free agents list, I found 3 players we can absolutely bring in. 17-year-old Borja Canales, we've got 26-year-old Harrison Ashby and 25-year-old Brandon Aguilera. All playing in positions we desperately need depth for, and they're all free, so they're not going to cost as much in contracts either. And there we go, guys. Our first transfer window in the Premier League is wrapped up as we signed all these 3 players for absolutely nothing. And now not only is our starting 11 looking pretty stellar going into the Prem, but our bench is absolutely stacked with quality as well now. I'm telling you, do not write Notts County off. We may be 17th right now, but by the end of the season, we're going to be nowhere near the relegation zone. But my days, I got this one wrong. We actually finished 17th, only 5 points above the drop zone, and we only won 8 games all year, man. That is beyond atrocious. Man, this can't happen again next year. We got so close to relegation, it's unreal. As for the FA Cup, we made it to round 4 again before getting knocked out by Fulham. And we only made it to round 3 of the Carabao Cup this time as well. But I don't know how we've done so poorly. I mean, Correa is now 86 rated, Bedfian is 84 rated, Bergvall's got up to 84 rated. Oh my god, what a signing he turned out to be. But I think I know how we avoided relegation. Nigel Thomas, what a season he had. 27 goals, 8 assists and 43 games. He solo kept us up. I honestly dread to think how we'd have done without these tactics, man. We'd have probably finished rock bottom. All I know, guys, is we just about scraped survival, so next year we've got to be absolutely ruthless in what we do with the team. No more playing favourites, we've got to do what's best for Notts County. And with that being said, guys, I think I've definitely done what's best for Notts County. As you can see, I've been quite busy in this transfer window, already selling a couple of our players, getting more money for our budget. I mean, we've now got 96 million to spend on Notts County to transform them from a relegation candidate to a top 10 contender. But now that we've sold our right back Kudu and also Edmondson, our centre back, it's fairly obvious that's exactly where the money's got to go. So with that in mind, I just spent 28.9 million on French fullback Sayel Kumbedi. He's only in his mid-20s and he's a far superior right back to Kudu, man. This one is a massive improvement. I also just spent 25.5 million on French centre back Benoit Badiashile. He's got Premier League experience, he's a far better centre-back than Edmondson. Honestly, I feel like with Kumbedi and Badiashile at the back, we've definitely got a better chance of doing better in the Prem. And that still leaves us 34 million to spend, and honestly, we're in no position to flush this money down the toilet. And you could say that we should throw that money at a new left-back, but Boss is only 23 years old and he's still growing at quite a decent pace, so I'm going to leave him alone for another season. But what I am going to do is replace Jalal Abdelai up top with a better and proven goal scorer, because this guy only got 2 goals last season, man. That's shocking. And I'm going to replace him with Yon Bonny from the Bottle Jobs. He's still in his mid-20s. He's 82 overall, levels above Abdullah. I'm hoping that by the end of this season, stats-wise, he'll prove he's a better player as well. And that officially wraps up our transfer window, as for 26 million, we've signed Yon Bonny on a 4-year deal. And I swear we better do better this season, man, because in my opinion, this team is far too good not to be playing in Europe, man. We should at least be in the Europa League at this point. Especially now that we've improved our defence by signing Kumbedi and Benoit Badiashile and brought in a much better striker in Young Bonnie. Only time will tell, I guess. I'm just hoping for a much better showing in the Premier League this year. And if the stats are anything to go off, we've had a very good year in the Premier League. Look at the man. Thomas with 31 goal contributions, 15 and 3 for Bonnie, 11 and 9 for GQ Kim, and 10 and 4 for Rodriguez. And I'm just going to call a spade, guys. This team is absolutely world class. I am praying to God we've done better in the Prem this time. And that's exactly what we've managed to do, guys. We are top 4 in the Prem this year. Never mind anything else. We've got Champions League football next season. I mean, we're still a long way away from being the best team in England. 14 points to be exact, but this is a gigantic leap in the right direction. We even made round 5 of the FA Cup before we got knocked out by bloody Birmingham of all teams. But we did have a bit of a stinker in the Carabao Cup. Luton knocked us out in round 3. But man, Champions League football for Season 8. Notts County, we're getting closer and closer to making them the best team in the world. And honestly, judging by how good this team looks, I think we're only a couple of signings away from actually making that happen. But guys, we are going to begin Season 8 with some bad news. Macaulay Langstaff is hanging his boots up at the end of this season at 33 years old. I'm just glad we got him to the Premier League, man. That was the goal from the beginning of this video, and I'm very happy we achieved that. But now we've got to move on to our bigger objective in making Notts County the best team in the world. And the board have certainly given us the money to do this, guys. 142 million to spend in Season 8. Honestly, I feel like if we spend this right, we're definitely going to be a contender. The big question now though, guys, where do we actually put this money? Because as you can see, really, in the starting 11, there's hardly any weaknesses. And to be fair, one of the weakest players in the starting 11, Borza, is still growing at quite a quick rate, so replacing him doesn't really make all that much sense. But I do think replacing Rodriguez with someone better might be the right move. He's not exactly bagging us goals left, right and centre, so if we replace him with a world-class right winger, that might help us win the Champions League. And I think it might be time to replace Lewis Bates in that midfield as well. I mean, look at his partner, Bergvall. He's 88 overall. We need to give him someone just as good as him, if not better, to partner up with in that midfield. And that is exactly what I've done, as I spent 58 million to sign Nicolo Fagioli. He's almost 30 years old, but he's a far superior midfielder to Lewis Bates. Having him and Bergvall in that midfield will be a nightmare for other teams. And this leaves us 78 million to bring in a better right winger than Rodriguez, but luckily I have found just the player for the job, as I've just spent £69 million on the dot on Tottenham Hotspur right winger Dejan Kulusevski. He's 30 years old, 6'1", 86 overall. He's an absolute beast in every sense of the word, isn't he? And I'm not being funny, but this team has definitely got potential to do well this time in the UCL. I mean, look at our bench as well, for goodness sake. It's absolutely stacked. And honestly, considering we're in Group H alongside Dortmund, PSV and Young Boys, I reckon we're at least making it to the round of 16. I mean, we've had a very strong start to the Premier League, guys. 3 games played and we've only lost 1 so far. I'm telling you guys, do not write Notts County off, because these guys have got a point to prove this season. And this is what I'm talking about. We are second in the Prem for the 2nd season running, this time only 6 points behind the champions Manchester City. I'm telling you now, guys, we are winning the title with Notts County at some point. It's just inevitable. But we ain't winning the FA Cup, as Leeds United of all teams knocked us out in round 4. But look who bloody won it in the end anyway. Burnley beat Arsenal 3-1 in the FA Cup final. I mean, fair play to them. And Brighton beat United to win the Carabao Cup. I'm sorry, what in God's name is going on in Season 8? Well, let me tell you what's going on. We are through to the round of 16 in the UCL after finishing 2nd in Group H. And that's where we quite frankly obliterate Wolfsburg. And we've just got past Milan in the quarters. We could be playing Man City, Bayern, Dortmund. Honestly, none of those teams seem appealing to me at this point. And this is exactly why. Bayern have absolutely slapped us 5-2 on aggregate in the semis, and that's us out of the Champions League. But there is at least a fairy tale ending, because Dortmund have beaten Bayern to win the Champions League. You know what? Fair enough. I'm quite happy with that myself. But honestly, looking at this team, I feel a little bit hard done by, man. I feel like we should have done a lot better with Bayern with the quality we've actually got. I mean, look at the stats, for goodness sake. Nigel Thomas, Bonnie, Kulusevski, Kim, all bagging goals left, right and centre for us. So honestly, I think the boys have let themselves down a little bit. I feel like we were definitely good enough to beat Bayern, and ultimately if that happened, we'd have definitely beaten Dortmund. And one thing I've just thought of, we could have won Langstaff a Champions League trophy in the very season he retired, man. We could have literally given him a fairy tale ending. Unfortunately, we just couldn't do it. But I feel like next year may be the season we do it, man, because with the team looking this goddamn good right now, imagine how good it'll be going into the Champions League next year once we're done in that transfer window. Especially with who I've just bought, because ladies and gentlemen, the player I've just signed is going to take Notts County from here all the way up to here. As I've just spent 80 mil flat on Alphonso Davies. He's 87 overall. He's an absolutely world-class fullback, and he's got a ton of Champions League experience, and that's exactly what we need. And this still leaves us 111 million to spend, and there is one more position I really want to improve. And that's getting a new goalkeeper than Bedfian. I mean, this may seem really harsh, but I feel like a proper world-class goalkeeper is the only thing stopping us now from winning the Champions League and the Prem. So I am going all out, ladies and gents. Juan Luigi Donnarumma. He's not playing for PSG, which is really weird. He's playing for Dortmund, which actually might explain how they won the Champions League last season. But the guy is in his early 30s. He's 90 overall, and honestly, considering how good he is, he looks exceptionally cheap. And guys, I wasn't joking, he was an absolute bargain as we only spent 61.6 million on him. And to finalise our transfer window, I spent 35.5 million, adding a little bit of depth to our bench by signing Thomas Araujo. And honestly guys, I think we've done a great job of preparing ourselves for Season 8, because this team all over the pitch and on the bench as well is absolutely phenomenal. We've shored up our weaknesses in our defensive lineup by signing Alphonso Davies for our left back position. We've brought in a world-class goalie in Juan Luigi Donnarumma, and we've added fantastic quality to our bench. I'm telling you guys, this is the year. This is the year we make Notts County the best team in the world. I mean, I'm not being funny, but look at the group we're in, guys. Frankfurt, Sevilla, and Ajax. We should absolutely dismantle Group D. Now, granted, it's not been an incredible start for us in the Premier League. One win from our first 3 games, but we all know this doesn't really mean anything. But guys, we've done everything in our power to prepare these guys for Season 8. These guys now have got to do the rest, man. I've done all I can. It's now up to them. Now, guys, we are at the end of Season 9. Let's see if we finally won the Premier League. Manchester City, I actually despise you, man. Why can't we beat you in the Prem? You legit only lost 4 games from 38. Oh, just get in the bin, you bloody tryhards. I can't believe this. We made the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but lost 2-1 to bloody Aston Villa. We should have won this competition with the teams left in it. And we didn't even lose to the winners, man. Brentford beat Villa in the final, and I'm damn sure we can smash Brentford if we wanted to. This is unreal, man. We made the semis of the Carabao Cup, but lost to Man City on pens. Honestly, I give up at this point. And once again, we didn't even lose to the winners. Chelsea beat City in the Carabao Cup final. Thankfully, though, we did much better in the UCL. 6 games, undefeated, top of Group D. We cruised to the round of 16. And that's where we've demolished Celtic 7-2 on aggregate. Oh my god. But we've just got past Monaco in the quarters. We could be playing Man City, Bayern, or Roma. Please, for the love of God, give me Roma. Do not give me Bayern Munich. I can't believe it. We drew against Bayern. We've beaten them 5-4 in aggregate. We've got our revenge on them, and we're playing Roma in the final. I'm not being funny, guys. We will never get a better opportunity to win this competition than we've got right now. I mean, our team, with all due respect, is absolutely levels above that. We've got to absolutely smash these guys in the final. I mean, look at the stats, for goodness sake, man. Look at how well the boys have played this year. And this is what I mean, man. This is the starting 11 going into the Champions League final. And let's be completely honest, this is by a mile the best team in the world. Scratch Manchester City out of the equation. They don't even belong in this conversation. Now, guys, it has taken us 9 solid years to get Notts County from League 2 all the way to this point, man. It has taken us a long goddamn time, but the team we've built along the way is absolutely phenomenal. But now it's time to see if they've got what it takes to become the best team in the world by beating Roma. Oh my god, we've actually done it. Kulusevski in the 82nd minute. Ladies and gentlemen, it's taken us 9 years in total, but we've made Notts County the best team in the world. I am so happy we've been able to do it, man. Roma very nearly caused an upset. They did not make it easy, but Dejan Kulusevski made the difference in the end. And with that, ladies and gents, our mission is complete with Notts County. If you've enjoyed this video, leave it a big old thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, help me beat Raman to 100,000 subscribers. And if you want to see more content from me just like this, then you should click here to watch this, because this is a banger as well.